Hi and welcome to AFTV. I've got Robbie with me. We've just beaten Mansfield Town 2-1 here at the One Call Stadium. 2-1?
I predicted 3-1, man. I was vexed.
You wanted that 3-1, but
you know what I mean? But
was it nervy for you at times? Because I just spoke to Ryan saying this. Listen, it was a terrible watch. I mean, it felt like a terrible watch, an awful watch.
That was a proper cup tie, man. That was a proper FA Cup tie. That's what we love about this. You know what I mean? You come to grounds like this, you come to teams like this. We're expected to walk all over them, and they battled, man. They really battled. They capitalised on a mistake that we made. And they scored from the one big chance that they had. Us, on the other hand, we had big chances,
loads,
right? Especially in that first half, right? And we didn't kill them off. I thought Max Dowman, who was absolutely brilliant in that half, he was just running past players for fun. But the only thing he lacked was the finish.
But do you give him some leniency because he hasn't played many minutes.
Just about to say that. I'm not going to get on him because you know what I mean. He's been out. He's been out for a while. But I thought he was brilliant in that first half, and showed us, you know, what we know about him, that he's absolute quality. But if we'd have took a couple of them chances, it would have been a comfortable game. But we didn't. And if you don't take it and you come to places like this. And these guys, they were up for the battle, man. Mansfield were up for the fight, and you've got to really credit them, and they gave us a proper cup tie. We had to bring on Eze and bring on a couple of big guns to get the job done. Yeah. So let's credit to them.
Let's talk them, because I think, you know, Arsenal have recently in the media been tarnished with this. We play boring football and all this, and they waste time and all that. And be honest, was there any signs? I know you can say, listen, 19 shots for Arsenal, 18 shots for them. It was an old school, like a battle game, but it still felt like with a 2-1 result that it wasn't vintage of like us coming in and rolling them over.
Yeah, but you're not always going to remember. In the last round they beat Burnley. You know what I mean? They beat Burnley away. You know what I mean? They beat Sheffield United before that. They've taken a couple of big scalps in this. You know what it's like. This is the first time we're ever coming here. You saw the fans before the game. You know what I mean? They were really up for this, and their team were really up for this, and it was a battle. You know what I mean? They didn't make it easy for us, and you know, as I said, we got to credit them, and this is what makes the FA Cup so good. Yeah. In that, you know, these teams can give, you know, ultimately we've gone through, but they're going to give us a lot of trouble, and they gave us a lot of trouble. And I just think that it was a very, if I was a neutral watching that game, that was a very, very entertaining cup tie. I always felt that we'd win. Yeah. I must admit, I always felt, even when it went back to 1-1, it's a little bit of a scare for us.
Very relaxed, I can't lie.
But I still like, you know what I mean, I'm like, we've got the quality, we just got to, you know what I mean, even though there was a few of our players that I thought were off it today. Yeah. And we looked a little bit disjointed, if I'm being honest.
He just saying
we were ultimately going to have the quality to get the job done, and we did. And you know, great goal by Eze, great goal by Madueke as well. You know, two fantastic goals. We missed the easy ones, and we scored the worldies. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that before we go into some individual performances. We won't do too many because it'll be your player ratings as well. You got a little bit of frustration that you had to see those players come on, the likes of Saka's, the likes of Eze's. Should it be, I would rather you just rested today. You know, Declan Rice was left out of the squad. Brilliant, he's resting. Some of those players that we rely on, the big guns, were you happy seeing them come on the pitch?
I think we were always going to see some of them today because we knew that with certain players missing as well. You know what I mean? You got to think about that. All right, you're changing players, but there's no Odegaard to bring on, so you're having to play Havertz in a bit of a strange position. You know what I mean? There's no Saliba, there's no Mars Lewis-Skelly because he was suspended in the last game. So it looked a little disjointed at the start of the game at the back, especially. You know what I mean? And you're bringing on youngsters, you know, and I think on the whole, the youngsters done all right, but there was a few little errors in them. There's a little error. I think it was Marley Salmon that led to the goal. You know what I mean? I felt a bit bad for him because he played quite well. You know what I mean? But they'll learn from this, isn't it? This is what you learn from because you're coming and you're playing high level, high pressure football, and this is when you're going to learn from it. So they capitalised on that mistake. They scored Mansfield, and then after that we had to go out there and really work hard to win the game. And you could see at the end of the game some of our players were tired. I mean, Madueke, who I thought was excellent in the game, but he looked knackered at the end.
Yeah, there was a time when Saka was coming on. I think he might have thought he was coming off, and then he ended up staying on the pitch and was probably thinking, "Boy, I'm knackered here." Just the goal that we conceded. What do you think of that? Do you think Kepa could have done better? Is it down to, like you said, it was a bit of a mistake to lead to their counter-attack and them scoring? But do you think Kepa could have done better or not?
I don't know, man. I think it's a good finish. You know what I mean? It's one of those where the player is hit on the angle, right? but he's hit it hard and hard. And you used to be a striker. You hit that hard and at an angle. It's very easy, very difficult for the keeper to get down and save it. So I don't know. I just think we made a mistake, and they capitalised on it. And you got to credit them for that. They were looking for that all game. They're looking for Arsenal to maybe make an error or force an error. You know what I mean? And a couple of occasions they looked dangerous. You know what I mean? And they surprised me at how good they were.
They caused us a few.
They surprised me at how good they were.
Okay, let's do this then. The FA Cup, we're the most successful club in this competition. You just said you came here quite relaxed. And are you looking at this trophy as something that is definitely attainable for us?
Yeah,
because you also want to say the quad's not on. I'm not going to say we're not going to win the quad, but then, if you're saying you're believing in the FA Cup, really, this would be the one out of all the competitions that you'd probably be like, this might be the one that we don't go all the way in.
I just think a quad to win 4 trophies, there's a reason it's never been done, because it's just so difficult, man. Because you see today, your squad gets stretched. You're worried about other games coming up. You know what I mean? Mikel Arteta would have had half an eye on the game on Wednesday night against Leverkusen. That's a massive game. So to win a quad is so hard. But definitely, I think we're good enough to win this cup. We're top of the league, innit? So we're the top team in the league. We're good enough to win this cup, but how the draw falls and all that's going to play a part. I'd love a home game for the next round, but we definitely got a great chance to win. We got a great chance of winning everything that we're in. Whether we'll do that or not is probably not going to win everything we're in, but. The main thing I want, I've said it all along, I want that league, man. Secure that league. That's the big one.
Is that a minimum? Is that a minimum for you then this season for trophy-wise? Is that a minimum that Arsenal should be picking up as a Premier League? Because I got asked today on TNT, they said, how many trophies is a minimum requirement?
Let's just go and try and win trophies, man. I think it's minimum requirement and all that. We ain't even won any yet. Let's just go and win something. Let's go and win the Carabao Cup that's coming up, and then see what else we can get. That's how they got to approach it. I think the time for minimum requirements and things like that is at the end of the season. But let's see, we're in everything right now. We're in everything, let's do it. Travelling to away games has never been easier, especially with Rocket Mobile.
Unlimited data, unlimited everything in the UK. When you leave the UK, it's 20 gig of roaming data. Life is very easy.
£16 a month. No hassle.
How you doing, man?
You're doing all right. And this is what you get in Europe.
Hello. Tony Adams.
Come on, like.
Thank you so much.
Lee, you're the man.